Hello, my name is Stu Morris, and I am curator of the Merrick's Patent Museum. I am here to talk to you about our new exhibit, Ask the Woman Who Owns One, featuring women in automotive history. As you can tell, there are quite a few different cars here than you're used to seeing here in our showroom, but I want to talk to you about why we think they are special. The phrase, Ask the Woman Who Owns One, flips the gender on Packard's famous slogan, Ask the Man Who Owns One. While through a modern lens that may seem just a touch misogynistic, consider it was coined when this car was made in 1901. So I ask you to draw your own conclusions. The first car I want to talk about is what most historians consider to be the first automobile, the 1886 Benz Patent Motorwagen. For several years, Carl Benz was working on his three-wheeled, four-stroke, internal combustion engined automobile, but it was his wife, Bertha Benz, who financed it and ultimately promoted it. Without Carl's knowledge, Bertha commandeered the number 3 Motorwagen and with her 2 teenage sons traveled over 60 miles to her hometown of Mannheim in southwest Germany. The trip wasn't without its issues. Chief among them was fuel, as gasoline was virtually non-existent in the 1880s. She would go to pharmacies to find Lagroin, a petroleum-based solvent for chemists and doctors, and purchase as much as she could. Another big issue was the three-wheeled nature of the vehicle, traveling on unmarked roads that were meant for 4 wheels, which made the trip dangerous considering the fragile construction of the Motorwagen. At a distance, locals thought Bertha was a witch, as they had never seen a horse's carriage before, with odd noises emitting from the vehicle. It took her an entire day, but would now take us an hour. But this historic journey marked the first time anyone has ever made a cross-country trip, and Bertha Benz showed the world the potential of the automobile. The next car I want to talk about is our very own 1934 Packard Super 8 Club Sedan, originally owned by Maud Nippert, whose maiden name was Maud Gamble. She was the daughter of American industrialist James Gamble of Procter & Gamble. The car was bought at the Citizens Motor Car Company in downtown Cincinnati, the Packard distributorship that built this building as Dayton's original Packard dealership. The exterior of this car remains in original condition, and while it may look black in most light, it is actually a very dark green. When Maud passed away, she declared in her will that the car is to be maintained in working condition if she were ever to come back for it in another life. We're trying to take good care of it, just in case she walks through those doors one day. The last car in this video we are featuring is one of my personal favorites, our 1934 Packard Super 8 Dual Cow Sport Phaeton, which we have nicknamed the Orello. Orello is derived from a combination of orange and yellow, but if I'm being honest, it's more of a butterscotch. The color was never offered in the Packard catalog and was only used for show cars and cars in advertising, as seen here. As you can see, the paint is mostly original, and we are preserving the original interior. This particular car was built for the 1934 New York Auto Show and was bought by Agnes Greer of Morgantown, West Virginia. Agnes was an industrialist and a philanthropist who started the local AM radio station that is still on the air today. The car was bought for her 16-year-old daughter, Jane. Jane did not care for the car, as she found it too hard to drive and park, and she didn't love the color. That may seem a little bratty, but I've driven this car, and I've parked this car. It's not easy to drive. It's not easy to park, and the color could be considered polarizing. But I do think, personally, that this is one of the greatest cars ever made. And sadly, Miss Margaret Dunning's car is leaving us to return to the Classic Car Club of America Museum. We were honored to have it for the past few weeks, and personally, I think it's one of the greatest cars in modern Packard history. But we have something really excellent to replace it. And if you're interested in learning more about that, stay tuned for our next video. And remember, to like and follow us here at America's Packard Museum. Thank you so much for watching.